Hey guys, I'm back with you, still talking about Easter. Today is Good Friday. It's a day that we as Christians stop and pause and reflect, remember the death of Jesus. 3 days from now, we celebrate his resurrection. So I want to continue this discussion that we started about Easter. And I've already asked you, and I'm mainly talking to you skeptics. To those of you who still aren't really sure about this Jesus thing, not to be so quick to dismiss the resurrection simply because it sounds unbelievable. Because as I said in the last video, something this big, an event this major, something this life-altering, it should be unbelievable. It should be something that has never been done before in the history of mankind. That actually makes sense. But I'm guessing that didn't answer all your questions. I'm guessing you're still probably thinking, yeah, Marlon, but where's the proof? I get that this should sound unbelievable, but I still need proof to actually believe it. So where's the evidence? Where's the proof? First, I want you to know that there are a lot of great resources out there on this very topic that discuss in detail the evidence for the resurrection of Jesus. There are books and movies and online classes dedicated to this topic, created by people that are far, far smarter than me. And if you want to learn more about these things, hey, message me and I would be happy to give you some of my recommendations, okay? But the simple answer to your question of proof is this: the Gospels. The Gospels. I wasn't there, you weren't there. There is no one living alive today that was actually there that day to verify these events. But we do have 4 separate eyewitness accounts, 4 written testimonies of people who were there. Now, this is the same process that we use in everyday life. It's no different. It's no different than what we use to verify the truth in courtrooms. It's no different than the method we use to create history books. We rely on the testimony of eyewitness accounts, people that were actually there to see what was going on. And these eyewitness accounts to the resurrection of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, they all say the same thing. The tomb was empty, the body was gone, and that they saw with their eyes the risen Lord Jesus. Now, you might be thinking, it sounds good, Marlon, but maybe they're just liars. Maybe they just made all this up. Now, that's actually the story that was floating around Jerusalem at the time. People were saying the disciples stole the body just to continue the myth, the lie of Jesus, somehow hoping to gain some fame or notoriety out of this. But here's the problem with that, right? History tells us that these guys didn't become famous in their day and age. They actually became fugitives, not heroes. Most died horrible, horrible deaths for the cause of Christ. Some were hung upside down, some stoned, some thrown off buildings, some were even boiled, right? Absolutely horrible deaths. Well, yeah, Marlon, but religious zealots die for their causes all the time. That's nothing new in it. It doesn't really prove anything, and I hear you. But here's the difference, right? Most of them die assuming they were believing the truth, okay? The disciples, however, would have died knowing what they were dying to defend was a lie if they made it all up, okay? No one dies for something they clearly know is untrue. It just doesn't make sense. And the disciples would have been in the unique position to know whether or not Jesus actually did rise from the dead. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to tell a lie, it's to get myself out of trouble, not to get myself into more trouble. And I especially am not going to die. I'm not going to give up my life for something that I already know isn't true. It just doesn't make sense. So the only logical conclusion to this is the disciples were telling the truth. Right? That they actually were telling the truth about Jesus. They saw with their own eyes that he died. They saw that he was buried, and that they saw that he rose again 3 days later, just as each one of their written accounts say. It's the only logical conclusion. So, guys, here is what I am urging you. Here is what I'm begging you. Here is what I'm really, really encouraging you to do. You got to check out the Gospels. You got to check out the Gospels. 4 true, historically reliable accounts of the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ.